Welcome back to Middle-Aged Man Learns to Draw His Dog. Today I will be developing this photograph of a Corgi into a portrait. Whenever I start out on a new project, it's easy for me to feel intimidated by the blank page. Fear of messing up, fear of not getting it perfect, all of this can make it feel terrifying to start. But as I worked on this portrait, I realized the power of giving myself permission to explore first. And I feel like I unlocked a superpower because of how much it changed my thinking about my approach to a new drawing, and really any new project. Right now, my desire is to be able to develop portraits for commissions, and when I start a project, I usually default to doing excessive amounts of research, or I want to just start with no plan and end up being very disappointed that the first thing I drew wasn't amazing. With this drawing, I was trying to see if I could complete the portrait in a single session from start to finish. And in the first session here, I started out with really small, kind of abstract watercolor strokes, just trying to fill in the details really with pen. And I liked the result, but it looked like a fox or something and not really like a Corgi. So the next day I came back and tried something different. So the next day when I came back, I started out with where I would usually start out, and that's like basic shapes and trying to get the proportions right and the silhouette of the dog right first. And that's what we're looking at now. And I really was still focused on like, okay, what's a realistic replication of the dog? Really just trying to like replicate the photo at this point. And so on this one, I'm exploring more with watercolor and just trying to get the color pattern to look like the actual colors on the photo. And I thought that as far as the colors go, it looks more like a Corgi in this one. I did not like how this one, his nose is way over to the left side of his eyes, and that's not what he looks like at all in the photo. So I wanted to do it again and try and correct that. I also thought the colors were okay, but I was going for richer colors, and very much like you're watching me in real time learn about watercolor and how to use watercolor. So as I was doing these, I was trying to learn about how to make richer colors, because that's really what I was going for. And you can see here I was trying to bring out the final detail with pen here, and ultimately I didn't really like that as much. I think it kind of detracts from the look I wanted. So in a later effort I changed that. So the next day, I'm pretty sure my main focus was really just on trying to get his nose in the right place, and I thought I was getting really close to the look I wanted, even though the colors weren't as rich as I wanted them. So I was, trying to make the colors richer, but just trying to get the proportions and ratios right in his face. And I thought that was the main thing that I needed, to make it look the way I wanted it to look. But as I got done, there's just something different about it than how I wanted it to look. And I think you'll see. I'd be interested to know if you agree. But I think when this drawing is done, it looks kind of pretty similar to the photo, but kind of stiff and lifeless. I thought in particular the dog's face was kind of lifeless. So one day when I wasn't recording, I started sketching out this guy's face again, just trying to adjust what I thought I really wanted him to look like. I wanted him to look, like he had emotions and like a happy guy. And I like this face a lot better. And I mostly ended up really liking this one, but again, I wanted the colors to look richer, and so I think that was my primary complaint at the end of this one. So I wanted to give it, yeah, I wanted to give it one more go, and I wanted to try it on better paper. So you'll see in a moment here. I started the last version of it. And you can see in this section here that I just really don't know what I'm doing with watercolor. I saw this super cool video where an artist mixes blue, yellow, and red to get this really rich brown. It's a super cool short on YouTube. But man, she made it look so easy, and I do not know how to get the same effect. Here I'm starting into my final drawing, and I would say this is where I really started to think about the value of exploring, because I had started out thinking that I would just do whatever I could do in one day, and that would be this portrait, and that would be it. But as this effort extended over multiple days and multiple different drawings, and I kept on reflecting on what I liked and didn't like in between the different drawings, I started to realize that what I ultimately wanted the drawing to be would have been impossible for me to know on my first try. And as I tried different versions, different aspects of what I wanted to be doing in the drawing rose to the surface. And in between these drawings, I was also looking at other artists' work and thinking about their characters and, what I liked about other artists' characters and the characteristics of, the design of those characters. And by the end of this, I ended up with a surprising framework list of characteristics that I want to use in my portraits and drawings that was very different from where I started, because where I started was really just thinking I want to have rich colors. I love drawings with rich colors. They're moving, they're kind of emotional when you look at something. They're very impactful. But by the end of this, I realized I think color is over my head right now. And I'm not saying I'm not going to use color or learn about color as I go, but I really want to focus on strong shape language and strong, easily readable values. I realized the artists with the characters that I am really compelled by and drawn to just have incredible shape language, immediately readable shapes, and really strong values. And I think that's just kind of fundamental to art, but and I don't think I would have ever come to those conclusions if I hadn't spent the time I did on this drawing and really thinking about what do I want it to look like, and what do I like about other artists' drawings. And full disclosure, I didn't really totally like the way this came out, this Corgi here. I felt like I really struggled getting the colors right. But there was more contrast and more richness than in the other drawings, so I was happy about that. But the biggest win by a long shot for me in this process was learning the value of exploring up front and just letting it be safe to go into it saying I don't know what I want to do, and explore different shapes, explore different colors, explore different facial expressions. And please let me know in the comments what have you learned from exploring when you set out to do a drawing? Or how do you approach exploring? Is exploring something that you do? Because I think it's something that's always scared me before. And I'm so grateful to be oh, no, this is what I need to do. Anyway, but thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks.